to Got Style Designs. My name's Pat. My channel is all about leather, techniques, supplies, tools, designs, applique, braiding, and much more. Since I use fairly sharp and dangerous equipment and tools, this channel is for adults. If you like my video, please push the thumbs up button below and subscribe. Thanks, and let's get on with the video. Today's video is how to Mexican round braid an edge with extra tips. Here is the material list. I'm using 1/8 inch Packer kangaroo lace, but you can use whatever kind and size of lace you want. You will need your project or a piece of practice leather. Your lace should be beveled to make it lay flatter, and you can refer to my beveling video to learn how to do that. You will need to use braiding soap to make the lace slide and tighten easier. The recipe for braiding soap is in one of my previous videos. Super glue is for splicing. The small tools will help in the braiding and hole punching process. Here's a picture of a trifold wallet I made using the Mexican round braid. It turned out really pretty and I sold it very quickly. Let's start braiding. You'll need your project or a practice piece of leather first. You'll want to measure the outside circumference of your piece. And if you're only just braiding this far, just measure that. And you take that number times 9 to get approximately the amount of lace that you'll need for the whole project. Sometimes it's better if you really need to know the length to braid an inch or so. Take it apart, measure it, see how much lace you used per inch. Add some to the measurement since you'll be going around the corners. If your project is larger, like my trifold wallet was, only use about 36 inches of lace at a time and splice to start your next piece. If you try to use too long of a piece of lace to avoid splicing, your lace will get stretched out and not look nice with the full length being pulled through all those holes. I selected 1/8 inch for my lace, and now I need to punch my holes. So I have some dividers and I set them at 1/8 inch. So I'll put that on the edge of my piece and I'll pull that down to leave a mark. The mark will be covered anyway. Pull it all the way down. Then I get my punch, lacing punch, and this is also 1/8 inch. I set that on the line and I use a mallet. Don't use a metal hammer. I use a mallet and it'll go almost through. Then you'll set your punch in the last hole. Set it back on the line. Take your mallet and you'll just do this and you go all the way around. It's easier if you make these corners rounded. In fact, you need to make them a little bit rounded. And you can take one of these handy tools that does perfectly rounded corners and just put it on the corner. And there you go. You have a rounded corner. They have different sizes of those, or you can push that one back and forth. So that makes your lace go around the corner much easier. Make your corner a lot bigger than the other holes because you'll have to go in it in order to get around the corner. You'll have to go in and out of it several times. The next thing that you need to do is open the holes up larger than what they are. You do not want to use a round punch in here just to make the holes larger because it makes your piece look really kind of cheap and unfinished. So what I do is I take a fid for braiding, and you can use awl, but it doesn't work as good. You take your fid and you just go in and wiggle it just a little bit and you'll make the holes a little bit larger. Since you're going through the holes twice, it's going to make it easier to go through. So now we have our piece of leather or our project prepared with the holes. And next we need to prepare the lace. And to do that, we need to cut a tip that will go in a lacing needle. So you just cut that off. So you go over here and cut the other side, and that way you will have a tip to go in your lacing needle. Then you really should do this on a piece of glass, but I have a skiver. You can do it with even a knife or something, but the skiver is really nice to use. And you skive on the flesh side, and you just skive off so that the part that goes in your needle is going to be really, really thin. And then we have our needle here, lacing needle, and you'll have to pull one side back, try and get that threaded in real even, and you have it threaded in, but now you have to make the notches catch the lace. So you'll push it down with a pair of pliers, and you usually hear a click, and that means that you're ready. Next, we take our braiding soap, and this will make our lace look much nicer. It won't be fuzzy and awful looking. And we should have really beveled the edges of this first. I didn't do it on this practice piece, but you run it through the braiding soap. You don't want a whole bunch of braiding soap on there. You just want just a thin coat, and you'll pull it through, and then you'll just kind of work it in with your fingers. And do that several times so you don't have a big glob of it anywhere. Next, we're ready to start braiding. You don't want to start on a corner or right at the edge because you don't want to have to splice or end right there. So we'll just go in a little bit and start on this hole from front to back. We'll call that hole number 1. We pull it through, and we leave a tail on the end, and we'll just hold the tail towards the back for right now. Then we take our lace and we go into hole number 4. So that was 1, 2, 3, and this is 4. You'll pull the lace through there and make sure it's straight. And that your tail at the back, it'll either lie on top, or it will go back in the back behind, or it will come up between 2 pieces. You can usually hide it that way if they're not glued, but most of my stuff is glued beforehand. Okay, next we keep that piece in there, and we come back around to the front, and we go into hole number 2, and we take that and pull the lace towards the back. I'm having a time keeping it straight here today. So this will get easier. We have the first small section done, and we want to turn it over towards the back. And this is where we'll get the weave, which is going under and over on the back. So even though this one's a little hard to see, it'll get easier on after we get it started. So you want your braid to go right alongside the previous one. You'll go under this one, and it'll go over the next one. So we turn it around again so we can see better. We've gone under this one, which is actually the tail, and then we'll go over So our weave is starting there. We'll go always into, from now on, we'll go into the next hole, go towards the back, and then we need a weave in the front to keep it all together. So we'll come back towards the front, and you notice this one's sticking up higher, so we don't want to under there, we want to under the next one. Go back towards the starting direction, and that's what is making our braid. And then we'll go into the hole right here next to it. So now our braid is starting to take shape. We need to turn it to the back again. And we need to go under and over. Okay, we'll come over this piece, so it's starting to look like, so it's going under this piece, over the next piece, turn it back around, and we'll go into the next hole. Go towards the back, keep the lace straight, and next we're gonna go over the top, and to make our weave here, we go over this and under. Then we want to go through that hole right underneath it, towards the back. So we're doing just a series of going back through the hole. Then on the back side, we're always doing the under first and over next. So on the back, it's always under and then over. It doesn't change. And the little tail is standing out there, but we should push it under there. Okay, so the tail kept wanting to come out, and I just pushed it under this piece of lace. So next, we go in through the next hole, come out through the back. Then this is where we have to make our weave, which is over this one, under this one, and then through that hole. After we go under, then we'll go in the hole adjacent to it, and we'll go towards the back again. And we just continue this until we go all the way across. And over here, we'll probably have to go in there a couple of times, make a braid to go around that corner. But all you have to mainly remember is that on the front, you go over and then under and then through the hole. And on the back, you've already come to the back, you go under and over and back towards the front where you go in the next hole. So that's just about all there is to this braid, and once you start doing it, it's really pretty easy to do. Okay, next I'll show you how to splice when you run out of lace. There are other ways to splice, but I use this one because it's much easier and it looks good and it holds up good. So for splicing, you'll notice we're on the back side already. And just say that we have run out of lace right here. What we want to do is cut it. So we want to just go under this piece with this lace, but not over the top where the splice is. So we want to cut the lace probably back in here. So if we cut the lace probably about there. That might have been a little too short, but that's okay. Okay, then it's pretty hard to show you exactly how to do it and hold it in the camera, but what you're going to do is it's going to be spliced on this side, so you're going to hold this over a corner somewhere and just take off just a little bit of the edge because you don't want a big thick splice. And then on your other piece, this is your new piece. You'll turn it to the back side and you'll splice just exactly the same amount on that piece, slice that off. Then you'll take this piece and put them, you'll cut it off square, but you'll put these together, and that's what I use this super glue for. And it ends up working really well. It's Loctite super glue, and I like this kind with the edges that you squeeze because you don't get any glue anywhere else except just right the very tip of it where you squeeze it. You put these edges together with glue on them, make sure they're pressed together firmly, and then you leave them to dry for at least 30 minutes. And longer is better, but whatever time that you have, just make sure you have a good bond on those. Okay, then you'll have your pieces glued together and you'll just continue on going through the under and the over, and your piece that's glued will be under that piece of lace so that you'll never be able to see it, and the super glue is very, very strong, so I've never had any problems with it coming apart. From here, continue with your braid all the way that you want to go if you're around corners or if you just go in a straight line, whatever. When you get to the end and you're all finished, then to make this not look as rough, I would put it on a tooling stone, and I would take a hammer with a very flat, shiny surface, and I would just tap it. Don't beat the heck out of it, just tap it. And you can even see what a difference that's made on just our little practice piece. Tapping with the hammer makes it just look more even and professional. Since you stuck around this long, I'll give you another tip. I did use 1/8 inch lace for the wallet in the picture, but I used a smaller size chisel, 3/32. And then I laced just like we did in this video. It really filled in beautifully, and I sold the piece within days of completion. It was a large wallet, and the braiding took me about 20 hours. Part due to the smaller holes and part trying to use a pony. The pony did not work at all. It's much easier to try and hold this in your hands. So a sample of what I did since I sold the wallet is right here. And it just turned out really pretty on this piece of buffalo. Try a practice piece with different size chisels and lace. Once you get the under and over on the back and the over and the under on the front, it's easy to do. It's just time consuming is all. So have fun with this, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for my edge braiding and applique videos next, where we'll also use the braiding soap made in my first video and the splitting and beveling technique shown in my other videos. I will try to post new videos every Friday. Subjects will also contain lots of other leather techniques and information. If you like this video, please push the thumbs up button and subscribe button so I'll know that these videos are useful to you. Thanks for watching.